Hey everybody, welcome to topic number 25. In this video, let's take a look at application of discount, sale price, and sales tax. So let's take a look at sale price and sale tax. So last time we talked about how to find part, percent, and the whole. So this topic is basically doing very similar things. We just changing the names. So instead of calling them part, percent, and the whole, we call them amount of sales tax. We call them the amount of discount. We call them commissions, or rate, a rate of tax or sales tax rate, commission rate. So we're just changing names, but we're still doing very much the same thing. So let's take a look at the sales tax first. Amount of sales tax, okay? Amount of sales tax, that means the tax that we need to pay to the government is equal to the selling price or the price we're going to pay the store times the rate of tax, maybe like 10%, 8%. So don't get caught up on the words right here. These are things that you already know, okay? So don't get caught up on the words. So these are common sense, okay? Selling price means how much they're selling to us, or you can think of how much you're purchasing. Okay, the total amount of stuff that you take to the checkout. What's the total amount of price, that you're going to pay to the store, right? So the amount of tax is actually a certain percentage of what we purchase, and the amount of money that we purchase, it actually goes to the store. Okay, it just whatever we purchase, we gotta pay for the item we are buying to the store, plus we have to pay for the sales tax. So that's considered as a total purchase price. Total purchase price is what you purchase, right, or what they are selling you, plus the amount of sales tax. Sell price here simply referring to you take the original price, whatever price is on the tag, minus the discount. Okay, then the result of it, is on sale, right? Called a sale price. So let's try some example. Remember, don't get caught up on these words, okay? Go into Belk buying a nice red coat. If the red coat marked at $100 and is also on sale for 20% off. So the original listing price is $100. Now it's going to be on sale for 20% off. How much is the actual discount? So discount, okay, is a part of what the original price is listed. So that's why we find discount as take percent times the whole. Remember, percent is the parts, right? The 20% means 20% discount. What we are going to find is the actual amount of discount. So we take the listing, right? Whatever the price was, times 20 times 20% off. So if you put that in a calculator, you're gonna end up with $20. So that means you actually get $20 off. Okay. So now let's continue shopping at Belk, buying this Nazareth coat. If the Nazareth coat is marked at $100 on sale for 20% off, and the sale tax is now 8%, find the total amount including tax. So how much do I need to pay them, right? How much do I need to pay them? Okay, I need to pay for the red coat, okay, and I need to pay for the sales tax. So there are two ways to go about doing this. Okay, I'm going to show you both ways. One way is once you figure out the 20% off is $20 off, then what you're going to end up purchasing is $80, right? Minus the 100 minus the $20. So that means you're gonna pay the store $80. So then you take the $80 and trying to find the amount of tax. This is your basically your sale price. This is your sale price. This right here is gonna be amount of sales tax, which is $80 times 8% is 0.08. So if I take 80 times 0.08, we get $6.04. 40 cents, excuse me. So that will be the amount of tax I need to pay. Therefore, the total amount, including tax, will be the $80 plus the $6.40. So that means I need to pay $86.40. Okay, so this is the way that most people actually figured out. And this is the way that we are actually trying to do all the operations on the dollar amount, right? $100 minus $100 minus the $20. Okay. Another way to do exactly the same thing is look at it in terms of percentage. Okay. So we are getting 20% off. 20% off simply means we will only pay 80% of that $100. So if you take $100 times the 80%, that will actually tells you the amount of money you need to pay, which is $80, right? That's the money we're going to pay. So now we also need to pay the sales tax, right? So think about this. How much of the $80 are you going to pay? If you want this red coat, how much of this $80 are you going to pay Bill? Well, you're gonna pay all of it, right? You're gonna pay 100% of it. So you take the 100%, you take the 100% of what you're going to pay, plus you also gotta pay 8% for tax. That means you will end up paying 108% of what you purchase, which is the $80. So if you take $80 you're going to pay times 108% is 1.08, and that will give you the 86.40. So you take 80 times 100% of the $80 you're going to pay the store plus another 8% sales tax. That means you'll pay total 86.40. Okay, this is just another way of thinking about the same thing. But this way right here is basic is do all the add and subtracting on percentage instead of doing it on the dollar amount. Okay, it's actually a little bit, that's why it seems a little bit less work. Okay, because I only type in the calculator twice. All right, 86.40. All right, let's try another one. If the sales tax is 5.5% and the purchase price is 680, what is the amount of the tax? Okay, so this question is only asking for the tax. All right. So how much we pay in tax is part of what we purchase. So the amount of tax will be 680 times 5.5%. Got to convert into decimal, right? 5% is 0.05. 5.5% just means adding another 5 behind it. So how much tax do I pay? 680 times 0.055. 37.40 is what I will pay. Okay. All right, new Blu-ray player, kind of old problem, right? People don't even buy a DVD player anymore. A new Blu-ray player costs $136.99 in the store. What will your total cost be if the sales tax is 8%? So how much money are we going to end up paying, right? So remember, we are going to pay 100% of the 136.99 plus another 8% in sales tax. So that means we will end up paying 108% of that 136.99, right? So this is real quick because I don't, the problem is never asking me how much, how much my sales tax need to be. The question is asking how much do I need to pay them total? What's my total purchase? So I just take my 136.99 times 108% is 1.08. And that will tell me exactly how much I need to pay. And that will be round to near cents. That'll be 95 cents, 147.95. All right. All right, let's do some discount. Okay. Just like earlier with the going to bulk. Amount of discount is also a part. Okay, is part of the original price. Okay, so that's how we know how much money is off. So we take the original price times how many percent discount it is. The amount of discount, we're just gonna subtract, right? Take the original price listed minus how much money I'm not going to pay. Then that would be, you know, that would be, oh, excuse me, this is amount of discount. Amount of discount means once I know the original price and what they're selling me, then the difference will be the amount of discount. So you actually see this quite a bit now these days when you go to department store shopping. What they do on the top of the rack, on the top of the item rack, there's a list. There's a little card here. It tell you the original price and it tell you the sale price. So it doesn't do percent. Sometimes they do percent. Sometimes they actually just write it out for you. Okay, so the original price might be 100, and then they say the sale price is 80. Okay, original price might be 120, and then the sale price might be, might be 100, something like that. I'm sure you've seen it before. The reason why they do it like that is so that the consumer feels that they are actually saving money. Okay, but the reality is some of these is really not that much off, not that many percent off. Okay, so just be careful. So whatever original price, subtract the sale price, and then you get to see how much money you're getting a deal, right? Getting a discount. But a lot of times in terms of percent of discount, it may not be that much. Okay, just be aware. All right, a car dealer offered $1,200 rebate on the car selling for 32,200. What is a percent of markdown? Percent of markdown is percent of discount. Okay, so this problem they offer rebate. Okay, rebate it means the amount of money we are not gonna pay. So what is a percent of markdown? So you're not, what we are not going to do is take this. Um, this is a little bit tricky. Percent of discount. All right. Percent of discount. That means what is my discount? Percent and part are representing the same meaning. My discount is 1,200. Okay. Divided by my original price. Okay. A lot of people take this and subtract that. No, 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 no. You got to divide it by the original price, what they were selling for, in order to see how many percent off. Rebate simply means, they give you money back. You know what I'm saying? But what they are selling you is still 32,200. They just give you a rebate, a little discount, right? To kind of draw you in 32,200. All right, 20% means part over the whole times 100. So let's see, 1200 divided by 32,200 times 100, round to nearest whole percent. You're only getting about 4% off, or 4%. Okay, that's all you're getting. All right, if a desktop computer is marked down to, the keyword is right here, marked down to 695 from 1150. So this is just like this thing I talk about up here. They give you the original price 1150. Now they're giving you the sale price 695. What is the percent of markdown? What is the percent of discount? Okay, so remember, percent of discount or markdown is always going to be part over the whole, right? Percent of discount, and the discount part percent is representing the part. Okay, so these two gotta have the same meaning. You are not saving 695. It's now selling for 695, but you're not saving this much money. How much money are you? How much discount are you actually gaining? So to find that, you actually need to take 1150, right? The original price minus what they are selling me now. In the end, it'll tell me my discount is only 455. Okay. and you always divide it by the money you are from. How much was it selling for? 1150. Excuse me. Times 100. Okay, a lot of people just simply take 695 divided by 1150. That is not right. Okay, because a 695 does not represent how much discount you're getting. The part on the numerator got to be the discount because I'm looking for a percent of discount. So divided by 1150 times 100, then you get rounding this whole percent is about 40% off. Okay, be very careful. The phrase marked down to 695 is now selling for 695. So the discount is only 455. Okay, just be careful. All right, if an item is marked $420 doing a 20% off sale, what is the regular price? So if the question is asking for regular price, that means the 420 is not the regular price. Most of the students do this 420 times 0.2. Okay, and that is just absolutely not right, because what does the 420 represent? The 420 is actually representing the amount of money that is after the 20% off. So now the 420 is actually the amount of money you're going to pay. So the question is asking, what was the regular price? Okay, so this is the price we are going to pay. All right, so think about this. What does 20% off means? 20% off means you are going to pay 80% of the regular price. The regular price is not 420. 420 is after the discount. Okay. So what is the regular? So basically what you're saying is the 80% of the regular price is the price that you pay. What we are paying is the 420. Okay. So the way we're going to set up is by saying 80% is 0.8 of the regular price means times by the regular price. Remember, we mentioned that before the word of sometimes means multiplication when we're dealing with percent. So now this is 0.8 times X. X is our regular price. 80% of the regular price is the price that we pay for 20. So we done this before when we solving proportion. Since I only got two terms here, the coefficient is the 0.8. So all I gotta do is divide both sides by 0.8. So the regular price is 420 divided by 0.8. Voila, $525 was the original or the regular price, original price. Okay, be very careful. 420 representing the price that you are now paying, which is after the discount. Okay, which is after the discount. It's already 20% off. So you don't need to take what you're paying and then take another 20% off of it. Okay, same thing here. I'm just changing 20% to a 1/3 off. So again, 1/3 off means we're gonna pay how much? 2/3, right? Of the regular price. So now the 2/3 of the regular price is what I'm paying. So this 165 representing is the money I'm paying. So 2/3 of means times the regular price is the price that I pay. So now all I got to do here is divide both sides by 2/3. So it's a little bit tricky putting in a calculator. When you divide it by 2/3, that means you want the entire 165 divided by the 2/3, not divided by 2, then divided by 3. Divided by 2/3 means I got to put the fraction in the parenthesis. Otherwise, just throw my answer off. So the regular price, excuse me, $247.50. Okay, let's look at this example. Suppose you're an employee at a department store that offers an employee discount of 10% and that may be applied to any purchases. You purchase some clothes originally marked at 155. Okay, so right now the clothes is 155. They are on sale for 40% off. So right now these clothes are 40% off too. Plus you work here, that means you're getting 10% off. So if the sale tax is 8%, what is the total amount you must pay for the purchase? Okay, so assume that the store policy is to apply the markdown discount, then the 10%. So what that means is you get 40% off on these clothes, plus you also get 10% off, but you're not getting 50% off. That's not what it's saying. You're actually not getting 50% off. Okay. So the way what's happening is you need to apply the 40% off first, right? Then whatever that amount you are supposed to, whatever that amount after the 40% off, then you get to take another 10% off that. Okay, so it does not equal to getting a 50% discount. So 40% off means we will pay 60%. That means we will pay 60% of that $155. So that will be $155 times by zero point 0.6. So the amount of money that I pay after the 40% off is 93. So the $93, now I get to apply my employee. So 10% off for working there means we will pay 90%, not of the 155, but with the of the 93, right? Because I'm already getting what 50%, 40% off. So we take $93, which is what I'm supposed to pay now, times by another 10% off means so I'm going to pay 90% of that. So that will be times by 0.9, which now I need to pay 83.70. Okay, but now I need to put tax on it, right? So I'm going to pay 100% of this 83.70 plus another what 8% in sales tax. So that means I will end up paying 108% to the store. So that will give me the total amount. So I went to the calculator 3 times. 155 times 60% I need to pay is 93. Then 10% off means I need to pay another 90% of the 93. I get 83.70. Now I times by 1.08. 100% of the 83 plus another 8%. So that tells me my total that I need to pay to the store is $90.40. Round to near cents. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at commissions. Commission is a fee that paid to an agent or salesperson for a service. So the amount of commission is based on how much money is being sold times the rate of commission. So it's like part equal to what percent times the whole. So if you are selling your house, oh Lord, misspell a lot of words here. If you're selling your house with a local realtor who requires a 4% commission fee, what can you expect to pay the realtor? Okay, so I'm selling my house for $158,000. And I'm required to do a 4%, so that times by 0.04. Then I will know how much commission I need to pay. Oops, typing it wrong. Times by 0.04. All right, 6,320. All right, that's how much commission you need to pay. Excuse me. A sales representative receive a monthly salary of $750 plus a commission of 4% on all the sales over 3,900. So what that means is if you do not selling over 3,900, you don't get 4% commission. You just get the regular pay. Okay. So what so what it's saying is the first $3,900 you sell doesn't really count towards commission. Commission doesn't kick in until the next dollar after the 3,900. Okay. So what did the sales representative earn that month? Earn the month that she sold $12,800 in merchandise. So the sales representative did sell more than 3,900. But the first 3,900 doesn't count because the first 3,900 Hey everybody, sorry about that. I think our video got cut off. All right, so back to this sales representative problems. So now I can only earn commission on the $8,900. So I can only earn 4% of that. So 8,900 times by 0.04. So that would be $356. So that's my commission plus my regular pay, 750 plus 356 plus 750. So this month I earned 1106. Okay, that's how we do this problem. All right, let's take a look at this example. Percent increase and percent decrease. Okay, so this is a lot like the percent discount. The percent increase, the percent is the part. Okay, so if I'm looking for a percent increase, my numerator needs to be representing the amount of increase. Percent decrease means my numerator need to be the amount of decrease. Both denominator is divided by the original amount, whatever you were from. Okay, so a drop from 50 to 10 is a loss of 80%. So a drop means percent of decrease, right? So this 80% of decrease is going to be amount of decrease. So we're decreasing 40 from 50. So if you take 40 that you dropped, that you lost or decreased, divided by 50 where you're from, times 100, that's equal to the 80% loss right here. So let's go backwards. What is a percent of gain or percent of increase? Go back from 10 to 50. So percent of increase representing the amount of increase. So to from 10 to 50, I increased 40, but I need to divide it by where I'm from. I am from 10, so I divide it by 10 times 100. So 40 divided by 10 times 100 tell me that my percent of gain is 400% of increase. Okay, so if you bought something for 10 bucks, you sell it for 50, then your profit is 400%. That's what that means. Okay. The stock price for KDV was $83.11 in July. In August, the stock had increased by 8%, but fell 8% in September. So this problem is a little bit tricky. What was the price of the KDV stock price in September? Okay, so we increased 8%, right? So if you take the $83.11 times by the increase, okay, that will tell you the amount of increase. So if you want to know what is the actual stock price, okay, you increase by 8%. So that means the original 100% that you still have plus the 8% you increased. So that means you increased, well, you increased 8%, but if you times by 108%, that will include the original stock price plus another 8% additional. So that will tell you at the end of August, your stock price will be $89.76. Okay, that's the price at the end of August. But then by the end of September, this price, we go up to the $89, not the 83 anymore. The $89.76 has dropped 8%. Dropping 8% means you still retain 92% of what you fall from. So I can just simply take 89.76 times by 0.92. Okay, this is a little bit quicker. The other way doing it is 83.11 times by 0.08. Let me go and finish this one. And I will show you what the other way that most of y'all encounter. 976 times by 0.92 tells me that at the end of September, I should be 82.58. Okay, so let's start over. The way that most people say, oh, Mr. Chen, I'm confused the way you're doing it. So what you were doing before is take the 83.11 times by 0.08. So that tell you how much money is increased. Then you take that plus 83.11, then they give you 89.76, right? Then you lost 8%, so you times by 0.08 to show how much money is lost. Okay, so then you take the 89, right? I'm gonna type it in all in, and minus the money you lost, then I give you the 82.58 we come up with. Okay, a little bit more work. All right, but same thing, get the same answer. All right, the population of white-tailed deer in a region was counted to be 212. The population in the same region previous year was 200, so I increased 12, right? Find the percent increase. So the percent of increase is the amount of increase. I increased 12 deers divided by where I'm from. I'm from previous year 200 times 100 to convert into a percent. So 12 divided by 200, voila, 6% increase. All right, let's use the remaining time, go over the homework real quick, kind of give you some hints. Solve the following problem. If the sale tax is 5.5% and the purchase price is 191, what's the amount of tax? So we take this times that, right? Just like we did earlier. If you are charged 151 in tax on a $3,000 purchase, what percent of tax? So this is a tax, right? Tax is a part of what we purchase. So you take the tax divided by the whole and then times 100, that will give you the percent. All right, so an item is marked at $550 doing 2/3 off. Then what was the regular price? So do the same thing as with the 1/3, except this time 2/3 off means we will pay 1/3. Okay, 2/3 off means we'll pay 1/3. So 1/3 of what of the regular price is the price that we pay. That's what the 550 represent. All right, this is a department store problem. Okay, so do the same way. A swimming suit originally cost $140 before any discount is on sale now for 20% off. So do the 20% off first. Okay, and then whatever that price is that you're supposed to pay, then take another 40% off. Okay, then you get to, there's no tax right here, so then you get to see what's the final price that they're going to sell you. All right, if the cell phone regularly costs 1247, is on sale for this amount, what is a percent of discount? Okay, so this is not a discount. Okay, this is what is being selling now. So what you do is to find the percent of discount, to find the discount first. To find a discount, you take the 1247, subtract 897, then that will give you the discount. Then you divide it by the original price, which is 1247. Okay, and times 100, that will give you the percent discount. An online company is advertising a name brand pocketbook on sale for 35% off the original price of $242.99. If the sale tax is 8%, excluding shipping and handling, what's the total amount? So do this problem similarly like what we did with the belt question. The belt question. Let's go back up. Oh, sorry. Okay, do it like this way right here. Okay, see if you can try it this way. If not, you can still do it by the money, because this question, this homework problem, only want you to find the total amount paid, including tax. When it's about to list her house for sale, suppose you need to allow for 6% commission for the buyer's realtor, and she need to receive a minimum of 228,100 on the sale. What's the minimum when you can list a house? Okay, so basically her listing is based on the amount of money she want to end up with, right? So she need to add another what? She need to add another 6%. Okay, she need to add another 6% to it. Okay, so what you do is she want to get 100% of these plus another 6%. Okay, for the other person's realtors, for the other realtor, buyer's realtor. So you can take this times by 106%. That will tell you how much Wendy need to list. All right, a drop from 70 to 14 is a 80% loss. What is the percent of gain from 14 to 70? So that's the same one as earlier. All right, a pack of noodle was selling for 10 cents last month. What is a percent of increase? So if they're selling for 20 cents this month, so percent of increase, that will equal to the increase. The increase is 10 cents, right? And you can just do 10 divided by what you were from. Where am I from? Last month was 10 cents. This month is 20 cents. So I'm from 10 cents, right? So that would, so do that, and then you will see how many percent increase. The point of this problem is basically telling you, hey, 10 cents might not be a lot of money. Okay, 10 cents increase might not be a lot of money from 10 cents, but in terms of percent increase, the company sees it as it's 100% increase in sales. Okay, that's the way they see it. They are making 100, they are doubling their money. That's the way they see it. All right, a swimming pool is marked down 2. So this is a similar one as earlier, the markdown 2 questions. So make sure you find the percent discount. So you got to subtract first, then divide it by where you are from. All right, question number 11. Gordon purchased television when his local electronics store had a sale. The television was offered at 30% off this original price of that. What was the sale price? Okay, what was the sale price? So basically 30% off means you're going to pay 70% of that. All right, so multiply, then you can see which one is your answer. All right, Irma has her eye on 2 sweaters at her favorite clothing store. but she has been waiting for the store to offer a sale. This week, the store advertised that all clothing purchase, including sweaters, come with an incentive, 25 cents off a second item of equal or lesser value. Okay, the second one. So if you bought two things, okay, they all, it's always the cheaper one gets a discount. So one sweater is 50, the other one is 44. If the Irma purchased a sweater during the sale, what would she spend? So you're basically gonna take 25% off the $44, okay? And see, so basically what you do is take $44 times by 75%, right? 25% off means you're still gonna pay 75%. So 44 times 0.75 and then add on to the 50. Then you will know how much she will spend. All right. Between the year 2000 and 2010, the number of births in the town of Denville increased from this amount to that, which is following approximate percent increase. So to find percent increase, you got to find the increase first. So subtract the two and divide it by where you're from. All right. Question number 14 is a lot of words. Okay. Marjorie is planning a vacation and she add up the cost. Her round trip airfare will be that much. Her hotel is this much. Then she will be staying at the hotel for 5 nights. Okay, ooh, gotta think about this a little bit. Okay, $89 per night. So it's 5 nights. And this is the airplane cost. She has allotted a total of $150 for sightseeing, okay, during her trip. And she expected to spend about $250 on meals total. Okay, 150 on top of that airfare. I'm saying 250. On top of that on the meal. Now, as she booked the hotel, she is told that she will receive a discount of 10% per night off the price of $89 after the first night she stayed there. What in the world is saying? She is told that she will receive a discount of 10% per night off the price of $89 after the first night she stays. Take this discount into consideration. What is amount? So you got to think about what this means. As she booked the hotel, she is told that she will receive a discount 10% per night off the price of 89 after the first night she spent there. So the discount doesn't come until the second night, third, fourth. You know what I'm saying? So think about that and give it a try. All right, that will conclude this video on topic 25. Thank you for watching.